We're live. We are on we're on our channel.
We're
on the right channel. Hi, everybody. Oh my gosh, there's already 4 of y'all on here and a like. Come on, hey-o. Good morning. Good morning.
Grab your coffee, tea, or preferable beverage.
And depending on where you are, good afternoon, good evening, and good night.
For some people, I think it's cocktail time.
That's you.
Oh, that's me.
What you guys doing? Leaning back.
I know, right?
Nailing it. Okay, who else here? Oh, we got Claire. Hi, Claire. Vikia.
Claire.
Your mom. All right, y'all. Vikia. I'm really excited about today's episode. For one, because it's been a second.
Yeah.
But we want to, let everybody kind of come in, say hello, morning tea. But as you may have noticed from the thumbnail, if you saw it in detail, that's one corner of one room of all of our stuff.
Yes.
We currently.
Oh, I'm so sorry. There's no one.
You have a call.
Oh.
Okay, you have a call. Glad with a chance to meatballs. Check it out. We have all our stuff in one spot for the first time in a long time.
Like probably 7 years.
Yeah, ever since I think.
Since we got married.
Yeah, definitely since we got married. But since we were in Hoboken, because
Well, when we got married, you were on tour.
Yeah, I was on tour, and
I kept that apartment in Hoboken to go back and forth, and it's been a long time.
And so, y'all, we have lived in. Wow. All right, ready? Let's try and track this.
You want to recap it?
Let's recap just the places we've lived.
All day.
That's very true. All right, the places that we have lived. We started in New York City. We both coincidentally had apartments right in Midtown. Then we moved to our first Hoboken apartment. Mm-hmm. Then we moved to across the country to Las Vegas.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where I ended up booking the Try video.
Yes.
Which
then took us to LA.
Took us to LA for a quick second.
Yeah, for like 4 months.
And then while I went on tour,
went back to
Hoboken in a different apartment.
If you don't know what Hoboken is.
Hoboken, New Jersey.
It's the cutest. It's right across the river.
And
it's basically New York City, but.
Yeah, and it's amazing. It's 1 square mile. Everybody knows everybody. It's very expensive now. It is very expensive. It always was, but now. It's where they claim Frank Sinatra was from there.
Frank's from Hobo.
Yeah. So
yeah.
Either way, went back to Hoboken while I was on tour. Then we both went to Australia, but I think we kept the Hoboken apartment during that. Mm-hmm. Came back from a few months in Australia and went to.
Well, then you were still traveling the U.S. and a little bit outside,
but then we went to L.A.
But then I had to prepare for our wedding, so we stayed. We stayed in New York while you were finishing the tour, which we had to move our wedding twice, and we're so excited to get into that.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that soon. Yeah.
And then we got married. It pretty much felt like we went on our honeymoon, and then a week later, you wrapped the tour.
Worst thing I ever did. And I will say this, or just worst airport experience I've ever had. Don't get married, go on a honeymoon, and then at the airport go different ways. It is really, really hard.
I didn't really have a choice.
No, but I had to go finish out the tour. Yeah. There was like another month left.
There was another month, because then
it ended in Vegas, ironically.
Yes, it did end in Vegas. Mm-hmm. Then I flew. No, what happened is we shipped all of our stuff to LA.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we were like sitting in this hotel trying to figure out
what we're going to do
and find a place to live because we decided we were going to move to LA officially.
Oh my God.
That was 2013.
That was the 20.
We're going to be here all day.
That was the bad one. Well, then it I think gets a little bit easier.
Okay.
To a degree.
Yeah, totally.
Because that was when we had the big LA fight that we talk about. That first Hoboken apartment was where the Frozen fight was.
But then we're in LA 2013.
Yes, in LA 2013, have the big LA.
What are we doing with our lives? where we've lost each other.
Yeah, what are we doing with our
bit.
relationship?
Mm-hmm.
Where are we? What are we doing?
Mm-hmm.
And you said, I just want to be putting on my makeup at my station at half hour.
Yeah.
That's I know who I am.
Life.
I know who I am. I know who you are, and I don't know why you don't. Come back. And I was like, okay. And so right after that.
Yeah. Cut to pretty much a year later, though, from being in LA, we moved to Vegas because I was like, we're going to find jobs ASAP. And when we said that out loud, we literally did that week. They were good jobs, you know.
Yeah.
Interesting things happened, but really good jobs.
Yeah.
And we stayed in Vegas for almost 2.5 years.
2.5.
2.5 years.
And then I got Dirty Dancing and then moved
back to
LA. And then you got the tour of Aladdin.
Yes.
And
you were booking shows in LA.
I was doing this close.
You were doing this close. And so we were like,
I was back and forth because I was living with John and Nicole most of the time in LA.
That's true.
Most of the good times.
It was a whole lot of things. And then the pandemic. And then 3.5 years of Aladdin tour
touring.
And back and forth with you.
Popped up into New Hampshire for a while.
Yeah.
And now
we're in the South. We're settling down here for a little quick second.
So
until the world opens.
I mean, but it is
been
so exciting because what has happened since we got here is we went, okay, we had to drive through. If you follow us on Instagram, I think everybody here does. We drove up through the polar vortex that was mating with a passing nor'easter and having the craziest time. I learned to tow a trailer. It was very exciting. Through a massive snowstorm, which I think some people are also going through now. So if you're going through that,
are really stuck.
Please take care of yourself. Sending you love. But all of that is to say, we got here and we were like, okay, we have our Jeep full of stuff. We have the monster truck. It's been full of our stuff that travels all of, the girls' food and the fridge and the things. And we got here and we were like, we have a lot of stuff. We don't need to buy anything just yet.
Yeah.
So we drove back up to New Hampshire and with the U-Haul, trailer, filled it up, brought our stuff back. Mm-hmm. But we've had a pod in Los Angeles for 3 years.
Yeah. Yep.
And we just got it yesterday.
Yes. And it is filled with everything we own, from a house worth of furniture to all of our clothes and stuff, but memories, pictures, files, memories, things you're like, why did I keep this? What is this thing?
Yeah. There's a lot of that.
Oh my God, remember this?
And to what today's episode is about. So what we're going to talk about today is not just continuing to talk about where we've moved and how long we've been there and those things, but we're going to delve into what happened when we finally got all of our stuff into one place and what lessons yesterday taught us that I really thought that we had already learned. And before we do that though, and then how you can use those same things to your advantage in your own life, your own love, and your own relationships to help you find the love you deserve. See how I tied it all together?
Nice.
I like that little catchphrase. Thank you. But first, we wanted to talk about talk about the episodes that we did last week. We're recapping those. So our Thursday episode.
Wait, pause. Should we go to the comments really quick?
Oh yes, absolutely.
Wait, I can't see this far.
I can bring it over.
So I'm like, who's talking?
Sorry, there's stuff.
We have a very strange setup
everywhere.
You guys right now. Eventually, hopefully, we can be on our new couch, but right now.
This is gonna be. Hold on, just. I'm gonna fix it.
You're gonna raise it.
Right, just give me a second.
Hey guys.
Tell me when it's up and over.
Okay, hang. He's raising. He's elevating. He's elevating.
Oh no, that's as far as that one goes. Hold on.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I got it.
Pause. We're moving. Hey, there we go. Yeah. Oh yeah. Nice. And then just give it a little swivel so you have room over here. Nice. But killing it.
Oh my God.
All right, let's read these comments.
Look at us over here. We're so technologically advanced, everybody.
Kelly, what's happening with your life? Haha. I just got the clip of you running after a couch. That did happen this week, didn't it?
Yes.
Oh my God.
I totally forgot about that. Y'all.
So we ordered this couch on Amazon.
Let's go on and tell the story.
That's the one thing we didn't have because we had this like pod full of stuff, but like we were trying to downsize and I don't know, our couch must have been old or something. So either way, we were like, we have to get the couch. So I ordered it on Amazon thinking at least like it's better than, you know, some of those other online furniture companies. Like you can't really track it. So with Amazon, you're like, get the notifications, it's on its way. Like I like that. So I'm thinking this is an easy breezy. They're going to bring it right to the door. I accidentally put in, because we were in an Airbnb here last month, just trying to figure out like where we should live and exploring.
What are we going to do?
I accidentally put deliver to that address because it was on my Amazon default or something. So thank gosh, the couch. I just choked on coffee. That was disgusting.
Chewy. Chewbacca over here.
That was gross. So where we were renting that Airbnb is literally across the street from this apartment complex. Thank goodness. Because then Colt realizes, he goes, wait, babe, because it was supposed to be here. And it said, we're here. And so I'm like, well, drive around the complex. It's
see, this was, hold on though. It wasn't a, we're here. Hi, come on down and grab your couch. It was somebody that was on the phone. It was like, hey man, I'm just gonna go and get your couch. And I said, I'm sorry. I have no clue. Were there any consonants in there? Or was that just a string of vowels and mumbles? And I couldn't get this. I kept being like, just go to the front gate and I will come meet you. And they're like, yeah, that's we are. We're there. And I was like, give me the phone. I was like, go to this building, turn left, and you'll be there. So I run there to make sure that, you know, I'm not wasting anybody's time because I get very like, I don't want to waste anybody's time. And so I ran down there and there was nobody there. And so I ran back up to make sure, maybe they got in through the gate and it like followed somebody in. So I run back up and there's nobody there. And then I run around and then they call me and then Amazon calls and they're like, they're there. I'm like, they're not.
Yeah.
And they're like, yes, they are. 8208. And that's not the address, but I was like, why do I know that number? 2434. And I was like, what address is that? That's not the right address. Well, that's the one you put in.
Babe,
and then I realize I look up the street and I can see the truck. And I was like, oh my God. And it's only like 2 blocks.
So you used your charm though. Because the thing is you said, I totally get it. You can leave it here. I'll move it.
I was like, leave it. I'll figure it out. I have a hand truck.
But if you don't mind, like.
But just so you know, y'all, this box. I mean, the couch itself is
massive. Well, it's not massive, but it's
like 7 feet wide.
It's very sizable.
And the box obviously is therefore that much bigger. And it took these 2 guys that are both way bigger than me. They're like dragging it and they're huffing and puffing. And they were so upset because they were like, we just went to the apartment and the guy said, no, it's fully furnished. I don't even live here. What are you doing? And they had to drag it through that building, drag it back out, put it back in the truck. And I was like, look.
But we said we would take care of it. I was like, we give you a 40 spot and you be on your way to our house.
40 spot. 220s.
Isn't that what you can say? Can I say that?
Sure.
Some people say 20 spot, so I can say 40 spot. Maybe.
Mm-hmm. I think it's because 20 is a $20 bill. So there's like a specific spot. Like it's a.
Can I give you 100?
$100 bill is a thing.
Those can I be like 100 spot?
Just what are you at a strip club?
Yeah. Like, hey, baby. 100 spot.
I think they would have loved that, but we just gave them a 40 spot.
We did give them.
To continue sweating it on out. And we finally got them. But either way, so I get to them. They put it back in the truck and they're like, all right, where is it? And I said, it's that building right there. And they were like, all right, cool. We'll be there in a minute. So I run down there because I don't want them to have to wait because they're driving. So they're obviously going to get there quicker. And then I wait and I realize they're not coming. They're absolutely not.
And then I get the notification. It says,
I had enough time to do that whole story while I was waiting. And then it says delivered.
And I was like, babe, I think they are being assholes and they like were over us, which rightfully so. But we did say, we gave you 2 options. We gave you 2 great options. And
great options, but options. We did give you options.
Well, we said, hey, I know we're being pains in the ass. We'll leave it here and you can be done with us.
I can give you some extra money.
Yeah.
And I promise it will be worth your time.
Amazon doesn't take tax out of them. I don't give you cash.
Yeah.
That's great. Go have a great lunch.
So they ended up bringing it. They were very kind about it. But yes, we did end up getting the couch. I'm glad we got to the 5th comment so far.
Yes.
15 minutes in.
We got the couch.
Mel, hey-o.
Hey Mel.
We have to respond to your
Mel,
email.
we owe you a big apology. Our life has been a little bit crazy.
Yeah, but no excuse. We will be writing to you very soon.
Hope everyone had a wonderful Valentine's Day weekend.
Yes. Okay, let's touch on that real quick.
I knew we're not going to get to what you wanted to get to with the recap because
I think there's a middle ground.
Okay.
I don't want us to fully knock it, but also just there's some goodness. There's some goodness here.
Valentine's Day weekend though, or however it falls in the week, but I loved this one because it fell over the weekend.
Yeah.
And like a President's Day situation, so it was like a long weekend.
It was a President's Day.
It's so special for us because, and we haven't posted pictures yet, but Maya's birthday is February 13th. You guys, she's a Valentine's baby. So
your baby brother's birthday.
And my baby brother's birthday is on the 15th. And so Valentine's Day is right in the middle, and it's such a special weekend.
It's the best ever.
Yeah, and so we always I feel like it's all one piece. And what's beautiful about Maya's birthday too is she time-wise. So Maya turned 11 years old. You would never know. This little baby is amazing, but she marks our love because we got together. We had some bumps.
April.
But you took Maya home, if she was born February 13th, you took Maya home, I think around mid-March, because she was super preemie when we got her. You rescued her at somewhere, I think it's Secaucus, New Jersey.
Long Island.
Oh, in Long Island. Okay.
Yeah. Long Island animal shelter.
Yeah, and she was only 6 weeks old when we got her, but she marks our love. So when she turns 11, we have been together for 11 years. It's such a beautiful thing. And then Valentine's Day, it's all tied in.
It was very, very, very special.
Yeah.
It felt this one for some reason just felt
really good.
It felt really good for a lot of reasons. Obviously, like we said, we have all of our stuff under one roof for the first time in so long, but also her birthday always brings up a lot for us because that's when we got together, and because there were so many choices that was the beginning of, as I said at the wedding, of he has no clue what he's doing. It usually works out, but he doesn't know what he's doing. If you're into that, there's an adventure. It's going to be an adventure. So if you want an adventure, what's got 2 thumbs and likes adventures?
We should do an episode, a quick episode on Maya coming into our lives and us getting together, because there are some funny fucking stories.
Yeah,
guys. There is some funny stories, but we'll be here all day.
Lots of poop stuff.
Lots of poop, and you know we have a history with poop in this family.
If anybody hasn't been to one of these coffee and teas before,
these people are insane.
Hi.
Wait, T said something.
So
weather here in Oklahoma has got bad. Winter storm. Number one
and number 2.
Oh, please be careful. I know, because I don't think Oklahoma City is. We were saying that earlier. The Northeast is prepped. We're always prepped. And we
I know
don't
that
think twice
there's millions in Texas right now without power.
Yeah, and so I'm so sorry, because I know that it's not I'm sure tax dollars. I'm not an expert on this, but get spent in different ways, and so you don't prep for. I would think that Oklahoma City is going to have these crazy storms.
Winter storm.
Texas gets just, it's hard.
Yeah.
So I'm so sorry.
Well, I was telling her the story a few years ago, and my mom, you're on here. What year was it when the blizzard hit and people in Georgia just It was like 2 inches of snow.
It wasn't a blizzard. It was like snow.
But they just got out of their cars on the freeway. Like everybody was at a standstill. And so everybody just started abandoning their cars and walking. That's so funny. Crazy.
Whereas I, growing up in Boston, would because oh my God, the greatest thing in the world is to wait for your school cancellation to pop up, and you turn on the news and you'd wait for it to scroll through, and I'd get so pissed that like some of my friends at other schools would have their school canceled, but mine wouldn't be. And I guess it just depends on the town, like how efficient they are. But man, you'd get really lucky if the blizzard began around like a 4 a.m. mark, because then they couldn't get to the roads quickly. But if it started the night before and we'd be going to school at 3 feet of snow, because they're like, deal with it. We cleared it.
Yeah, we cleared it.
And I'm like,
doesn't matter how much snow there is. Meanwhile, in Georgia, it was, well, it's pretty cold out, so it might snow. School's canceled.
Wait, we also pause and my mother-in-law's in here. She's going to remember this story. And it was actually a really bad blizzard, but we have to do an episode on that blizzard. So my mother-in-law was spending Christmas or New Year's with us. No, it was Christmas, I think.
It was in our first Hoboken apartment. It was
in our first apartment. Either way, it was winter. She was visiting. And there was a really bad storm. And so my best friend Haley and I were swings in the show. We were doing West Side Story on Broadway. We weren't on that. Colt says, well, my mom I think she was watching the show or something, or I don't know. For some reason.
She was at the show.
She was at the show. Yeah. And he was like, go home because you need to get home in case you need to get us or like something. Right. Well, I'm not going to give you all the details. We're going to save it for another time, but it's a very funny story.
Okay. It involves a lot of snow and me just not knowing having a breakdown because I've never, she handed me a shovel and said, we'll just have to dig it out. And that's all I'm going to, and just.
You've learned so much since then.
So much. All right. So we missed, hold on. We missed Claire's. It was all right. Thanks, T. Hope you had a good weekend. Valentine's too. Oh, happy Pancake Day. What?
Is it Pancake Day today?
That's like your favorite.
Or is it in the UK? Let everybody.
Can it be worldwide?
Can someone check? I like that. I want to have pancakes tonight. Day Warm Val, it's good to see you.
Hey, Val.
We haven't had you in a long time.
Missed you too. Joys of moving. Absolutely. Okay, it was more than 2 inches of snow. It was like 3 inches of snow then, because I remember it was a ridiculous thing that people on, the news were like,
I can't do it.
I don't know what to tell you. You know, people are abandoning their vehicles. It doesn't seem like a lot of snow, but it can be really scary. So, and I was like, okay. But I also remember what had happened in Hoboken during that storm, which was an actually bad storm.
Right. I'm glad you had that experience, because I was like,
what are you
this is a part of our life now.
Yeah. Yes, in the UK, it's Pancake Day.
Well, maybe.
Pancake Day here, and that's all that matters. Come on. Don't just rub it in our faces.
Maybe we'll pay you back still. I don't know.
All right.
You guys, if you are into, this is a good idea. This is off the top of my head. If you're into Donut Day or National, whatever, will you send a thing or remind me?
Yes.
Earlier in the week, because we don't know, but that would be a fun thing to do together. If we all got the thing and we were like, this is what we got. What did you get? I don't know.
I like that.
Yeah.
For a game night.
Yeah, that would be fun.
Celebrate those days. Meaning it can be Pancake Day everywhere. Thank you, Claire.
Oh,
all right.
I appreciate that.
I was a little bit worried.
Okay, so do you want to go to what are we doing? We're talking about.
Well, let's go through the episodes from last week.
Oh, okay.
Right. I think it all ties in.
Okay.
I think that's the thing that I want to get to.
Okay.
Which is that. Oh, sorry. So first, Bride Life.
Oh,
Valentine's.
Yes.
Before we're completely off our rockers with the Valentine's Day thing, we're a part of BrideLife.com. We're their relationship experts.
Yes. We're so excited. Yeah. This is a new platform. They have so much potential. They're in the middle of going to grow so quickly over the year. There's a big plan. We had this really fun company meeting.
Last night.
Was it last night?
It was last night.
It was crazy. Then they sent us, you guys, I always wanted to do these cocktail kits that come in the mail, and everyone's companies was sending them cocktail things. And I was like, we don't work for a company. I want one of these.
We have
you
the
like
company.
have a Zoom meeting. And so we did that last night. It was so fun.
You got to talk to whoever's in charge. You got to talk to your boss.
I'm the boss right now.
I know.
But we have cocktails every night.
I know, but I want one in a box.
Okay.
On
it was
Zoom.
really cute. And so we made cocktails and Rachel, the woman that's in charge or running it right now, she, kind of showed us all the behind the scenes of what's going to happen over the next couple months. And
showed us the website in detail.
Yeah. And I'm really excited for it. And honestly, it's called Bride Life, but don't let that deter you in any way, because it's actually very much focused on like wellness in all areas, because it's about like for brides and grooms and everything in between preparing for the wedding. But it also, like, I'm excited to watch it because they talk about financial health. They talk about
all the things. It's really like a relationship.
Tutorials, like just fun things. And we are going to be on there basically doing Part of Love, which is why they sought us out. And so we'll keep you guys in the loop, but we'd love for you to come on the platform with us and kind of help create that community over there, because that could be really fun. Yeah. And, you're our peeps. So that would be awesome. But I think we're going to do over the next coming month, we'll pick a date that we're going to do regular lives with them. And the questions will probably be a little more focused about, couples and weddings and things, but it still applies to all of us. So it's very fun.
It's really exciting. Yeah. So anyway, we're very, very, very excited about that. Yeah. Okay. So let's talk about the episodes, because it does tie into what we were talking about today. Last week,
Thursday, your episode.
Yes. My episode, which was about not how to keep it spicy after marriage, but why that whole concept of like sex after marriage suddenly disappears. Well, there's a reason. That's the what, what's the why, and kind of delving into just acknowledging. And if you haven't seen it, check it out.
It's a very funny episode. I didn't see it till it was like already posted and edited.
Oh yeah, you didn't.
I laughed out loud like so many times because the way you set up the joke, you're like, should I be worried about? I don't know. It was very funny.
Thank you very much. That's very sweet.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. No, it just, the whole point of the episode had a lot to do with keeping yourself healthy, keeping your love healthy, working on all of those aspects even after you get married, and not pretending like things don't exist. Like you're not, like you don't find other people attractive. It doesn't mean that you have to act on that.
Of course you find other people attractive. They're human. Exactly.
It's ridiculous.
It's then what you do with that.
Mm-hmm. You know what? I've said this a couple of times, I think on the refinery, and if not, I know that I've just talked about it to you and in conversation. The whole concept of like being a pacifist, but not having the ability. If you don't have the ability to fight, then you're not necessarily a pacifist. You're just passive, right? Yeah. So if you don't find anybody else attractive, it's not. Well, you're not
being truthful to the human experience. Yes. Like you literally.
That's a way better way to say it.
Well, yeah. Like, I mean, you can't deny, and you shouldn't, because we've been taught. This is an old school way of thinking, right? And they made us feel very guilty for generations and generations if you acknowledged that other people were attractive, or that you were a bad person, or whatever. Yeah. But that's such a weird way to live. It's sort of like saying, well, if you have an ice cream shop, I can't eat gelato from this place. Well, no, I guess that doesn't make sense, because then you're like,
don't eat other people's gelato. I would never have an ice cream place. I would have a custard place.
It was actually the
Everybody
worst.
Knows that was a terrible analogy.
I don't have a metaphor or an analogy. What I'm trying to say is,
you can still find people attractive.
Yes, and honestly, can I give you a quick
I love
story?
this. I love this little story.
So everyone knows, like, look at this face. Look at this Bob. Come on. I am the luckiest person on earth. I got to marry him. Not only is he very attractive, but he's also funny and all the things. But he's very attractive, right? We can all agree. And I have high, now he raised the bar. There are very few celebrities that I even find attractive at this point. I'm like, nothing on my husband. But, we were thinking, or we said something the other day, like, I love you so much, not only because you're beautiful, but because I have all this amazing history with you. Yeah. the way you, not just your looks, obviously, but the full circle, and whatever you find attractive on the outside, you might find that in other people, but they may not have that full circle, right? We talk about the full circle all the time. So I was at Home Depot. It's always very funny when I go to Home Depot. I'm like, asking everybody questions, and many people were willing to help me because, the little girl in distress that doesn't know how to use any of the tools is trying to buy the tools.
That knows how to use all the fucking tools.
Okay, I do.
You act like you don't when you're in there.
And then I was like moving mirrors, and I was trying to get shit in the car, and like, I don't know. I clearly looked like I was having a difficult time. I'm also like kind of injured, but it was like doing things I shouldn't have, and I don't know. And so I came home and I said, babe, you know what? This is so funny because I'm biased
and
about,
we happen to be having this conversation.
Yeah, we haven't had this conversation, and I saw like 2 very attractive men today. Actually, I saw like 3 this whole week. Like I was shocked. Like, not that there can't be attractive people in the South, but I'm biased to New York, So I'm like, and I've never seen anyone who looks like you. So I was like very shocked, and I was just saying, and it's so funny, like, good on them. I hope they find someone banging that they love and like that turns them on, and that like, I hope they have a good life, because that's a good shell. It's a good start.
It's a good start.
And
one of them was like helping you.
Yes, and he helped. He was so sweet, and he was like, trying to. And I was like,
helping get stuff into the
very
car.
Very grateful, yeah.
And you didn't have your rings on.
And I didn't have my rings on.
Because we put our rings on to do part of love.
Because the thing is, if we're not doing part of love, I'm either got my
cooking,
hands in
you can't
meatballs and
if I'm working out, I take it
meatballs.
off.
Yeah, you take it off. I don't know. And I never want to knock it.
Yeah.
So if we
both got diamonds in there, don't want to knock one.
Sometimes I don't wear them. I don't know. So that probably also. But either way, I got home and I was like, but what's so amazing is I am so attracted to you, but on top of like there being other attractive men, I guarantee you that specific person didn't come into my life because they don't make me laugh the way you do. They don't do all the things. And on top of that, we have 11 years of history where you have loved me through some of the hardest times of my life, where you have been there in ways that you have grown with me, you've pushed me to grow, that is what makes things sexy.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to say that is what makes good sex, but that's
no, and that was part of.
That's what keeps it spicy for me, because we're constantly doing that, and I think that's what you were
getting.
At,
because other than that, like there's, and I said, is that 1, 2, 3, 4? Nailed it. So
amazing.
I think, as I said in the video, and what actually spurred me to write that video that night, was. What? Oh,
my ankles are also in pain. That's not what's injured, but I'm so crickety that
I got you.
2 hands going on.
You got you.
Okay. Oh my.
Just the sounds, the poppings, the creaks.
In this house.
No, but it was the fact that if you are just very analytical about kind of the aesthetics of people, there are some really attractive people in the world, right? It'd be disingenuous for
and whatever
like
you
talk
find
about
attractive,
Idris Elba,
honestly,
where you're like, he's very, very attractive.
He is very hot, right? We can all, I don't know.
And I use the stereotype of Halle Berry.
But you also think
or
he's
Jennifer
very hot.
Aniston. Yeah, he's extremely
And
attractive.
I think Halle Berry's hot.
Yeah.
I will literally write him and be like, babe, I wish you were here to see this butt that's in front of me in line, because it is banging. And it's, promise you, it's usually a girl's butt.
I don't think it's ever been a guy's butt.
Am I going to get in trouble if I send you a photo? Like, I'm like, we're human.
Yeah.
You have to acknowledge that things are beautiful.
As you call it the shell, I call it shapes.
Shapes.
Because for me, that's what it has become, because it's just a shell until it's filled up with 11 years or 1 year or 6 months or whatever that is, until other than that, it's just shapes.
Yeah.
And there are some great shapes.
Yeah.
And that's totally fine to acknowledge, but you don't have to throw away that whole concept of like, well, I'm just going to throw away my whole life for this possible shape. Like, no thanks.
And I think the problem is, and not always. Sometimes people cheat or lose interest or just don't have a good sex life after however many years. And sometimes that happens after 2 years.
Yeah,
1
that's
year.
happened to me in relationships where there was no marriage, obviously, involved this first timer.
But the sparks die.
Yeah.
You know?
But I would cheat because there were other issues.
Right, of course.
It had nothing to do with, oh, this shape is so overwhelming so here's the thing that wasn't talked about in the episode. So I kind of feel like it's fine to expand on it. Expand, I think both work. The fact that there's that locker room guy talk that I don't know if girls do, but
we do, but it's, and sometimes it gets kind of filthy, but my version of it in my mid 30s is very different than it was in my early 20s, you know?
I mean, I
think all of us can.
Maybe
not though.
Maybe not. Sex in the City is coming back. We'll all see the truth soon. No, but just what I'm talking about is the fact that I'll hear guys, and I've heard this for a lot of my life, especially growing up in the South, where you'll hear guys say stuff that it just always, and Billy and I would always kind of talk about this, it would always just make me uncomfortable. Because I was like, that seems weird. Plus you have like the old phrase, what's the phrase? I can window shop just as long as I don't try anything on. That version of looking at things is what I think is wrong with it, as opposed to just acknowledging something and being like, damn, wow. Yeah. But the fact that the movie Hall Pass, where he's like taking snapshots, he's taking mental snapshots for his spank bank, that kind of shit. I'm just like, that's so fucking weird. That says so many other things. Yeah. Like, take care of your love and take care of your love as you're getting into it. Yes. Like,
because you will lose track of that. And we always say that though, you can fall in love right away, but every day you have to choose. Otherwise it's gonna go to shit.
Yeah. And there's just no reason for it. So that was that episode, which was born out of because Wednesday nights usually are when we record the refinery. Mm-hmm. And then that ended up spurring that thought, because we end up talking after the refinery is over. And then I ended up at like midnight 30 writing that episode, and that's why it was late. So thank you to everybody. It is our #1 most watched video and our last like 50 videos. So
I think it's a good subject.
Thank you so much. Yeah. We're definitely gonna have to talk more about it. Sure. Which leads us to the refinery.
Okay.
Or do you want to go to the?
Well, I was gonna stick with ours because I think we have about like 20-ish minutes. I think we might be unpacking for a second. Unless you think we have time.
I think it's a part of it.
Oh, it ties in? Okay.
I think it ties in. Now, thank you for all sticking with us through this. I know that we went literally all around the world, and now we're back here at this topic. But for our final stop before our journey's end today, the refinery was a topic that I had been experiencing, and I asked them, I was like, hey guys, can I bring the topic this week? I know it's not my week, but I'd love to bring the topic. They said yes. And I asked them, what do you do when those old habits that you feel like you've worked on and that I fixed this part of myself, starts to ratchet back up and creep its way back in? Because you know how when you first acknowledge something about yourself, because that's the first step, right? You have to acknowledge that you have an issue of some sort. Yeah. For me, I was talking about my lack of patience. When we met, I was an incredibly impatient person, in all aspects. And it would just overwhelm me. Yeah. And I've found that in the last month or two that I tend to be more impatient. Just in general, outside of this house. Yeah. Never has to do with you.
But you were talking about the influences of being
back in Atlanta, and being back just in kind of
so cold.
I'm so sorry. And how do you deal with that? And so we all talked about that, but the reason that ties in, that's an incredibly beautiful episode that I really, really enjoyed. Everybody was really vulnerable, really honest. Brandon had been drinking, so he is like, as he texted me, he was like, dude, I was raw, like emotionally. He is just out there, and he's being very honest, John, obviously, as always, that deep voiced, perfect for radio man. It was just a really, really great episode, and I really enjoyed it. So check it out if you haven't, which ties back to, though, getting all of our stuff.
Yeah.
We may go just a little bit over.
Okay, of course.
We got all our stuff yesterday out of that pod, and we opened the first bin, a whole bunch of clothes, my clothes. And we opened the second bin, and it was a whole bunch of clothes, all my clothes, and like shoes and clothes. And then we opened the third bin, and it was clothes and shoes and stuff, my stuff. I also had to carry in a surfboard, a bike, a piano, 2 guitars. No, I don't play guitar. Like basic chords, same thing for the piano. All of that. And then we got through tons of these things, and I'm just slowly like sinking into myself. And she keeps being like, no, don't. No, it's okay. No, it's okay. Because yes, eventually we found
I had a little box of clothes. I'm good though at being very like Marie Kondo about things.
Yes.
Like I keep things if I love them. But most of my shit was on tour with me. So it kind of has been with us, except for like a small box that was in storage.
The point of this being, yesterday, what I learned, what we learned, was that sometimes these things that we deal with emotionally in our relationships, we talk about them, we can talk at them, and we can feel like, man, I've really solved that problem. I don't buy shit now. But yesterday, for the first time in 7 years, I had to look at the physicalization of that emotional thing where I would waste our money on shit I didn't need. And that was a huge point.
I love you though. And what's crazy is that honestly was probably the largest problem in our relationship for many years. And we'll do an episode where we really maybe deep dive on that, because I think a lot of people struggle with, maybe if it's not just spending or whatever, it's different things that you can sort of cross relate. But I felt like we dealt with it. I felt like as a couple, first off, you did your work internally, and then I had to trust you that you weren't going to spend like that anymore. And then we really
relapse.
relapse. And we really grew. And I feel like we really dealt with these things, and we're in such a different place in our life now. But you're right, we didn't see what was in the closet, as it were.
Oh man.
And so looking at that, I know it put you in a little bit of a place.
Yeah.
And I I feel like we're not even those people anymore, and we've grown so much, and we're so resolved that I was like, I know what might be in these boxes and it will be a reminder. But I kept having to calm you down and be like, it's okay. It's in the past.
Yeah.
We have dealt with it.
Well, because you deal with it, and you deal with it in your ways. You get past it in your ways. As a couple, we grew past that. We then, like, instead of suddenly spending all of this money on a bunch of bullshit, we're on tour together. We pay a whole bunch of stuff off. We save a whole bunch of money. We buy a house. We have money in the stock market. Like we and all of that work was due to the kind of emotional stuff and that shift. But there was one thing left. And until you do that one thing, it's, again, I always go back to this Jungian theory of, Carl Jung says, look in the place, the thing that you most need is in the place you least want to look, essentially. And I mean, that pod was that cave. It was that dark cave of, okay, all right. And we opened it up, and I was like, it was just this wash of all of the things that I had spent money on for so long. And the best feeling was, now what's in this house is our stuff. Yeah. Now what we have, there are some beautiful memories that we had in there, but we took 4 giant Tupperwares like giant, like industrial Tupperwares to Goodwill.
Yeah. It was really nice to go through it.
And to be like, okay, it's time.
Yeah.
It's time to let this go for good.
Yeah.
And that's a beautiful thing. So
yeah, I think that it was also really cool because it was like the last thing on the list of that, not the list, but of that, like
100%.
Having that resolve, you know, I don't know, because your patterns changed, our dynamic changed in our relationship, like our happiness went up because, we all, it's hard to feel full of joy and like consistent like joy when you're nervous all the time and you're struggling or whatever. It doesn't just have to be about money, but I know that's something that we can all say universally that makes us nervous, right? So when we don't feel safe that we're not going to have at least like enough money to pay rent or put food on the table or whatever, and then we're so nervous that we're covering up those feelings with, oh, I'm going to go buy something, or whatever your thing is. Or whatever your thing is.
Drinking,
exactly.
Drugs,
Drinking
buying
something.
Stuff,
exactly. And I think
sex.
all of us have all of us have like a, struggle with that. Like in my 20s, I didn't save a dime because I was trying to deal with some other emotional stuff that I couldn't get past. And thank God I always had really amazing jobs. But I didn't save a dime from those jobs because I was like, I have enough money to do A, B, and C or buy A, B, and C. My thing was, let's go to a $400 dinner. I'm going to pay for everybody. I'm killing it. And everyone was like, Angelina, you're 22 years old and you're going to want to save that money. And I was like, no, I'm going to be good. Cut to.
I'm always going to have money.
What? Like, why did I do that? But either way, that was my, it's just
But I like that. And so the point of all of this, no, seriously, no, yeah. I don't think we're actually getting off. But what I love about it is that the point of today's episode, after all those things, is to say that all of that history, all of that time together, it culminated in this kind of, as everything, if you're lucky, kind of tends to do, in this one point where we got to look at it and go, okay, this is what that was. That's the final step of that thing. And so long as you don't kind of relapse back into it, that's a beautiful moment. So taking stock of, we always say what and why, right? Taking stock of, this is my personal demon. This is my coping mechanism, I think is the word you may have been looking for a second ago.
Yes, coping.
So what is my coping mechanism? Why is that my coping mechanism?
Yes.
And how do I make sure that I can keep that kind of reined in to a healthy thing that's not going to affect my relationship with others, my interpersonal relationships, or my intrapersonal relationship with myself? How do we identify those things and then emotionally deal with them, and then put the final stamp on it with the physicalization, the dealing with it physically and going, okay, here it is. I'm now done. I think that's the only way to really deal, at least that I've found thus far within relationships, how to deal with problems fully.
But what's really cool about, my therapist said this, did I say this last week? Or I'll repeat it. She said this, I don't know, recently to me. She said, pain and whatever you're doing, like to cover up that pain is necessary because it's letting you know there's a problem, right? But the pain part and however you deal with that is not the problem. So like you having anxiety or, which is also pain. And then like, if I have anxiety, sometimes I run to the refrigerator and I open it and I go, and it's that choice. It's like, do I go for that key lime pie? Which I just bought one. Or do I go, no, you don't want to answer this email. It's very uncomfortable and you don't want to deal with the problem. So you're avoiding it and you're going to eat this key lime pie. Now, I have been in places in my life where I have chosen the key lime pie every single time. And I ended up all of a sudden 20 pounds heavier. And I was like, what happened?
I don't know what happened.
I don't know what happened.
And the problem is still there, P.S.
And the problem is still there, exactly.
That's the larger issue. So I think
I still didn't answer the email. Yeah.
I think that something that's also really common for a lot of people is something that I'm making a video about on my channel separately from this, which is, what do? We go to YouTube. We surf the internet. We have the entire world at our fingertips. We watch something on Netflix or Hulu, or we disappear into our phones. We get on Instagram and we fucking scroll and tap and look, and then we're looking for something else. And what we're not doing, though, is dealing with the problem. So we challenge you, acknowledge the problem, what and why, emotionally deal with it. So step 1, what and why, acknowledge it, figure out what it is and why it is. Step 2, begin that emotional journey of trying, and some of that's going to be physical. Mine for that was stop buying shit.
Yeah.
Stop. And I have a rule. I don't look at any sites that have like stuff that I would be tempted to buy during the week. I take a little bit of time on Saturdays, and like that's my window to look, because there's only so much time that you can spend on there and looking at stuff. And there's a bunch of other rules that I've implemented for myself. And this may seem extreme, but it's necessary, because spending money is a trigger for me.
Yeah.
And
it's your release.
It's absolutely.
Yeah.
But so you find like what your little things are, but then figure out where it stems from. If there's something that you can physicalize. Yeah. I don't know. You get what I'm saying. If there's a bit of it that you can take and go, you know what? No, I'm going to do this. And I know the Marie Kondo thing of cleaning everything out, and what doesn't give you joy, like that. I think it's a beautiful way to say it. But how do you find that moment for whatever your thing is? What we talked about, Henry Brandon said something about, well, what do I do when he called himself a hoe? It was really funny to me, because he was like, when I'm single, I'm a hoe. That's my thing that I fall back into. That's my trap. And I loved that he said that, but he also said, so what do I like? So what would I do in that situation when I get that text and I know that maybe that's not the right decision, but it's an old pattern. It's an old habit. I'm trying to break it, but I'm not going to break it today. I'll break it later. If you keep pushing it down the road, what we ended up coming to was, and this isn't ruining the whole episode, but what we ended up coming to is, I think John may have said something like, do something today that your future self will thank you for.
Yes.
And I was saying, look at it. I feel like a couple of weeks ago, maybe, or years ago. Sorry. I don't know why I said weeks. I was thinking about, I wish that I could start living my life, and then I did. So I guess that wish came true. As if my future self, like when people say hindsight is 2020, like being able to look back, we can look at your past mistakes currently and be like, oh man, I wish I wouldn't have made that mistake. Well, now certain mistakes that you don't have to make. So look at it through your future self. Would you and your future self agree on this decision? And if not, maybe don't do it.
Totally. Can I say what? Can I add to this topic? No.
And everybody, no.
I'm just going to add quickly to this topic. It's bad enough to be going through this yourself as a person, and I don't mean that whether you're in a relationship or not, as a single person, like just in your own entity, right? I know the pain and the covering up and the guilt and all the things, right? We all do to an extent, because we're human. But this is a lesson to really focus in on, because it doesn't just affect you. Or if you're single right now, know that you're going to go into a relationship, and every choice you make is going to affect the other person. So
come on, somebody.
Well, no, because
I knew it would make it.
Thing. And so our LA fight, honestly, we had lost each other a little bit, but
that's one of the ways that we had lost each other.
Yeah, because I was like, who are you? Who is this person? What are you doing? And you're doing this to us. Your finances are my finances. Your home is my home. Our future, your future is our future.
Yeah.
And when you love somebody so much, it's hard to acknowledge that you might be hurting them if you're not directly hurting them. Well, I would buy you, sometimes you would say it too. Well, I'll buy you a pair. I don't mind spending money on you. And I'd be like, I don't want that. I want to
money
we don't have the money to be spending this. Yeah. Exactly. And so it would give me more anxiety. And then, and so it was a lot of painful conversations, but so much growth came from that. And at one point, when we really were getting things in order, you looked at me and you said, well, how do we like, what are these new patterns? And I knew that we were going to have to create new patterns. You were on the same page with me, but you were like, I'm lost. And I was like, avocado toast. Like,
y'all, no shit,
you guys. And I know for me,
California.
Love to cook. I love to make these grand meals just at home myself. I'd rather cook than go out to dinner sometimes, but
pretty much all
it's some of the things that
which works out very well for 2020.
And I'm like, set your budget. And so we would do, like eggs and avocado toast so many nights of the week for dinner, for almost a year, that or a quick Domino's, and like that's a cheap there are things we had to cut back.
When was the 2 for Tuesday when it wasn't every day?
Yeah.
Some Tuesdays was like, okay, this is $5.99.
Yeah. And the other thing is, our thing was going out to get drinks. Oh, you guys, especially the cities that we're from, like New York, LA, these big hot cities that like a cocktail is $20 if you're lucky, and
16.
Us, we're not we don't stop at that first or really second round sometimes. So
especially not in New York when you're walking everywhere.
Exactly.
You're like, why the fuck would I?
And so you're like, I just drank $200. Do you know what kind of vintage Whistle Pig I could buy for $200?
I love that she just said that.
No, but you know what I mean? Like, you could have bought yourself a beautiful piece of, if you enjoy alcohol. So I was like, hey, I don't mind spending money on alcohol, but we're drinking it inside, which forced you to learn how to make drinks. Beautiful, like crafted cocktails.
Which also helped us spend more time together. Exactly. And I started being able to pay attention to
things I liked.
Things that you liked. And now we've got these beautiful,
It's really like figuring out together as a couple, like, am I taking care of us? Am I cleaning house? Am I keeping a clean house? And I'm not talking about, dirty floors. What I mean? And I don't know, it's so important to know that, like, we are all going through this to an extent. Some more than others, and we will deny it because we're so embarrassed and we feel guilty. But you have to know at the end of the day, it's affecting your other half, or it will affect your other half in the future, So, I don't know.
Yeah, no, you do. And that's the best part.
Yeah.
Thank you for
having me. Thanks for making the life that I always wanted. I love you.
Okay. All right, where are we at? Yeah, happy for you both. Congrats on bride life. Very happy. Thank you. I'm going to school.
Oh, yeah, we'll go way back. No,
that was good. Margarita Day is coming up later this month. Val? When?
What day is that, Val?
What day is Margarita Day? I need to know. And thank you guys for the love from bride life. Congratulations. Oh, you're so sweet. Just can't open your wallet. Okay. See, I actually like that one better. You just can't open your wallet. I like that version better than try anything on, because especially when you hear a guy say it, I'm always like,
that sounds gross. Yeah.
Yuck. You are equally as beautiful inside and out too. Okay. Yeah. P.S. If you check out the episode, I go in on. I mean.
Oh, you
come on. Come on. No, I'm just saying. You was over here. I was looking down. I was blushing, but
I know you love me,
girl.
I'm cute.
Colt and Ann, very lucky to have each other. Yes, we are. Love you both. I think we all buy things we don't need. I know I have. Yes.
Who said this? I'm sorry. I don't know why I'm like blind.
However, at what point does it become a problem, right? We've all spent too much time online, but they're like, for lack of a better thing coming to mind right away, there are people who watch pornography occasionally, and there are people who incessantly watch pornography so much that it ruins their relationships. They're not doing their jobs. All they can do is that. They're watching it at work. They end up getting flagged. Like there's shit like that, right? So what is your trigger? And especially with that one, why?
Yeah. But again, I like that idea of the future self, because I promise you, this is, I think, a Weight Watchers saying. So I tell it to myself sometimes if I'm like struggling with, like, I struggle with food too, you know, like if you can't, it's not about whatever. And so I think back in the 90s when my mom was going to Weight Watchers, they said, nothing tastes better than skinny
feels.
Yeah. And I was like, well, that's not necessarily healthy. I'm not saying we should all be skinny or whatever that is to you, but I know what they mean. Nothing tastes better than just feeling good and being healthy, right?
Nothing tastes better than healthy feels.
Exactly.
Hey.
That I mean, that should be the new saying, because that's not really appropriate. But I also, for me, like when Whistle Pig is
very close. Some of the food you make.
But you know what I'm saying? Like words. Nothing, when I question even our plans for the night, I'm like,
of course.
Takeout? Nah, it'll feel better to know that there was $50 in my bank account that I would have spent. We got stuff in the fridge. And I'm going to make it beautiful. And you're going to whip up a cocktail and you're going to think it was great.
And you know what? How many times do we end up having these amazing, well, I think this is a really good one. The other day, for Valentine's Day.
Yeah, we splurged. And we spent, what was it? Like $120 on the ingredients for a seafood cipino. And it was massive thing of it. Yeah.
We ate it Valentine's Day. We ate it last night. We are having it again tonight. and
I felt guilty because I was like going in and we were like, it's Valentine's Day. Let's get the crab. Let's get the
oysters. We had oysters, clams, mussels, like the whole nine.
But I used to make dinners like that all the time because I thought it would make you happy and
it did. But then I got attached to that. And
and then I was like, well, can we just do something chill? I'm like, why? And I don't know. We really reined in a good way. Yeah. So it felt so special.
But just like the drinks, like, so where is it? In Monterey?
Oh, yes.
It's in Monterey?
The Chiapino? Yeah. You guys, if you live near San Fran or you go to San Fran to visit, just outside, or not San Fran, but Monterey, that whole area. Yeah. I will send you the link. It's in Moss Landing. It's called Fish.
I'll put it in the description.
Phil's Fish Market. It is by far the best Chiapino we have ever had in our entire lives.
It comes in buckets, literally.
Buckets.
You can buy buckets.
Get it shipped to you. Yeah, I think it's very expensive to get it shipped, but I think you can get a bucket of it.
Each bucket is like $60.
Yeah.
And so what the irony is, say we were there right now, it would have been way cheaper to spend the $120 and get 3 or 4 meals out of it.
Yeah.
And to still have this beautiful time. Like sometimes you splurge and you just go there. If you're there, definitely go there. But either way, it was just that thought of, I love that we didn't just go out and get a ton of stuff.
Yeah.
Even now when we're fine, to be like,
but we're fine now.
Because we changed our habits.
Yeah. We've cleaned house.
Yes. And we are currently cleaning house. If you look at the thumbnail, that again,
you guys, you only saw a corner of the room. Of the living room.
And
you don't even know the disaster. I don't even know. You know, when you're unpacking, I don't even know where to begin.
Over here that's just, there's a bed in it.
I don't know. It's going to be fine.
We're going to figure it all out. Either way, thank you for being here today. You guys are the best. Let's go back to the comments real quick. We're a little bit over. Thank you for sticking with us. I know some of y'all, it's probably getting late. I think Chet was in here earlier and we didn't get to say hi. It's okay to window, blah, 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 down. I've been an emotional shopper. You are human, Colt. Faced it. That's all that matters. Thank you very much. Thank you very, very much. On a plus for you both, it is pancake day there for you too. Thank you, Claire.
Get out, Claire. Maybe we'll do it.
We might have to. Chiapino may have to hold out for one more day.
I know, right? I love a blueberry pancake.
I'll make you some pancakes. Always bought stuff because I thought it would make me feel better until Bill's Day. But now I find happiness in myself doing exercise, playing music. Come on, Claire. Claire with all the growth. I find happiness in music, my family, and hanging with you guys. I love that, T. Anouk. Oh my God, I'm always late for this. Just got off work. It was so long ago. Well, I'm so happy that you're here now. It's so good to read you again. And check out the episode. We talk about a ton of
it's
stuff
always posted there,
that always comes right back, and it'll be up in a few minutes. And then I used to shop a lot, but since I've changed for the better and now saving money. Love that. Y'all.
Isn't that such a good feeling?
It's that same thing of like when your finances are healthy, when your love is healthy, when your body is healthy, all of those things
allow for
your mind is healthy,
peaceful life. Like, yeah, it's there's nothing that feels better than that peace.
There's nothing you can buy that in that moment, if it's detrimental on the flip side. Now, this is not to say do not treat yourself.
Oh, you gotta treat yourself.
Sometimes.
But make sure that it is a treat. And because what's such a good feeling is when you haven't done it in so long, and then you go for the kill, and you're like, my finances are in order. Haven't done it in a minute. I
really want this thing. You can't wait. And then you get to really take it in all of its glory and beauty, because you don't have to worry. There's nothing else in the way. And whether that's buying something or sex or, just any number of things. And I'm just so stoked. So let's all challenge ourselves this week to acknowledge what and why, emotional deal, physical deal. Awesome. Go for it. And if you just feel good and you feel joyful, just ride it. That's amazing. Good on you. All right. Love y'all. Have a great day. Thanks for coming. Oh, we'll see you Thursday. Well,
we'll see. Well,
you'll see us Thursday.
You'll see us Thursday.
We'll have an episode out. Bye.